Ever wondered how the Amish grow so much food in such tiny spaces? In this video, we'll explore their best-kept secrets for year-round abundance. From clever companion planting to simple off-grid watering hacks, these 20 techniques will help you turn any backyard into a thriving produce aisle. Number 1. Early season soil renewal. Amish communities rely on careful observation before planting, and one of their biggest secrets involves renewing the soil right at the start of spring. They walk the garden, noticing where last year's crops struggled and where weeds grew rampant. Instead of using chemical fertilizers, they dig in organic matter like well-rotted manure or leaf mold right after the last snow melts. This gentle tilling loosens compacted ground so young roots can flourish. The Amish focus on adding compost in layers rather than mixing it all at once, which helps preserve soil biology. Some families place layers of straw on top to suppress new weed growth and hold in moisture, letting nature break down the mulch over several weeks. What's surprising is that this early renewal can increase long-term fertility for months. By the time they're ready to plant, their soil feels rich and crumbly, almost spongy to the touch. A respected Amish gardener once said that, "You can't expect plants to thrive if your soil is tired," capturing the idea that happy soil grows healthy food, no matter how small your plot. Number 2. Hidden benefits of hand tools. The Amish prefer hand tools for nearly everything, from removing weeds to turning compost. At first glance, it looks like more work, but they insist that you become a better gardener when you move slowly. Using a wheel hoe or simple long-handled cultivator helps them spot problems like fungal growth or early insect damage they might miss if they were pushing a noisy gas tiller. They routinely sharpen blades and oil handles, treating each tool as an investment meant to last decades. By respecting these implements, they claim it fosters a deeper respect for the garden itself. Notably, many Amish also believe these tools help maintain the soil's living structure, since machine tilling can break up vital fungal networks. They find that earthworms, nature's tiny tillers, do much of the aeration if you treat the soil gently. This practice might seem old-fashioned, but you'll often see robust, healthy plants in these tool-tended plots, which speaks volumes about the method's success. Number 3. Multi-tiered crop rotation. To ensure they can harvest enough food for the entire year, the Amish implement a rotation plan that sometimes spans 3 or 4 growing cycles. That means a spring planting might be followed by a short summer crop, then a fall harvest of cool weather vegetables, and even a cover crop over winter. It's a strategic dance that balances soil nutrition and reduces pest problems. You'll rarely see the same vegetable in the same spot 2 years running. For instance, if tomatoes grew in a particular bed last year, they might follow them with a nitrogen-fixing crop, like beans or peas this year. Once that's done, they'll overwinter the same area with rye or hairy vetch to replenish the soil. Through these constant rotations, the ground remains energized, allowing them to produce a staggering amount of food in very compact areas. A single plot might yield multiple harvests from March to late November, proving that smaller gardens can be just as productive as larger plots when you plan meticulously. Number 4. Heirloom Seed Guardian. Amish gardeners often guard their seed varieties as family treasures, passing them down through multiple generations. These heirloom seeds are adapted to local conditions, which means fewer diseases and pests. If you visit an Amish farm, you might see them storing seeds in airtight mason jars, labeling each with the harvest year and variety name. To test seed viability, they often place seeds on a damp cloth in a warm spot for a few days, counting how many germinate before planting them in bulk. They're quick to trade seeds within the community to maintain genetic diversity. Many also keep meticulous records in plain spiral notebooks, writing everything by hand. The simplicity of this system contrasts sharply with online seed catalogs, but it works incredibly well. Over time, these seeds adapt more and more to the specific microclimate and soil conditions of each Amish settlement, creating a powerful cycle of reliability and robust yields. Number 5. The off-grid greenhouse trick. Although many Amish communities eschew electricity, that doesn't stop them from using greenhouse-like structures. Often called hotbeds or cold frames, these setups can be as simple as a wooden box topped with repurposed storm windows or even plastic sheeting. To heat these spaces without electricity, they rely on passive solar collection and sometimes layer fresh manure underneath the planting area. As it breaks down, the manure generates warmth, effectively turning the box into a mini greenhouse. This trick can push their growing season earlier by several weeks, especially for seedlings that don't handle frost well. Rather than needing expensive electric grow lights, they let the sun do most of the work. The stable warmth ensures young plants develop stronger root systems and acclimate slowly to outdoor conditions, reducing transplant shock later on. This low-tech method might seem like a throwback, but it's one of the reasons the Amish can harvest earlier produce than many mechanized farms. Number 6. Community compost stations. Instead of each household creating its own compost pile, some Amish neighborhoods establish a larger communal compost station. Families drop off kitchen scraps, livestock bedding, and yard waste in carefully layered piles. These piles heat up quickly due to the sheer volume of organic material. In turn, each family is entitled to a portion of the finished compost based on how much they contributed. It's a team effort that fosters unity and sustainability. The communal compost pile is monitored by an appointed garden steward, an older member who has mastered the art of composting over decades. Temperature checks with simple meat thermometers, careful turning schedules, and layering carbon-rich materials like straw ensure the pile remains active. By the time the compost is ready, it's a rich, black soil amendment that has enough nutrients to support large families. This cooperative spirit ensures that no waste is squandered and everyone has access to premium compost without needing expensive commercial additives. Number 7. Livestock power for small spaces. Horses and mules are common on Amish farms, but in smaller plots you might see them using goats, miniature horses, or even a single donkey to help with tasks like hauling mulch or pulling a lightweight harrow. When space is tight, a small livestock animal can do the heavy lifting more efficiently than a gas-powered machine, and it also provides manure for fertilizer. The Amish connect deeply with their animals, believing that a well-cared-for creature works more willingly. Often, livestock and garden form a natural cycle. Kitchen scraps feed the animals produce manure, and the manure feeds the garden. It's an eco-friendly loop that requires no gasoline and fosters a gentler relationship with the land. While not every modern gardener can incorporate animals, seeing how the Amish manage it in limited spaces offers creative inspiration for maximizing resources. Number 8. Smart orchard integration. In many Amish homesteads, fruit trees share space with the vegetable garden, creating a mini orchard environment. The idea is to use the partial shade of dwarf apple or pear trees to shield certain crops that might bolt in direct sun, like lettuce or spinach, during the scorching months. Fallen leaves also contribute to soil health when mulched, and the presence of fruit blossoms encourages beneficial insects that pollinate the vegetable patch. Some Amish families systematically rotate poultry through the orchard to eat pests and naturally fertilize the soil. As a result, orchard trees grow more robustly, and vegetables below benefit from reduced competition from weeds. This integrated system reflects a deep understanding of how different crops can support each other, forming a layered ecosystem rather than neat, segregated rows. Number 9. Low-maintenance water harvesting. Collecting rainwater is crucial for off-grid living, and the Amish do it with simple but effective methods. Gutter systems funnel water from barn or home roofs into large wooden barrels or repurposed food-grade plastic containers. Often these are elevated on sturdy platforms to provide gravity-fed watering. To keep debris out, they stretch fine mesh or linen over the top. Unlike modern setups with pumps and timers, the Amish rely on basic spigots at the bottom of each barrel, carrying water with buckets or connecting short hoses. They're careful to use only what's needed, citing that stewardship of water is a God-given responsibility. If rainfall is scarce, they rotate which barrels get used first, preserving some for critical garden tasks like seedling irrigation. This old-school approach is surprisingly efficient when combined with good mulching and soil structure that retains moisture. Number 10. Protective companion planting. Beyond just planting marigolds with tomatoes, the Amish elevate companion planting to a more detailed strategy. They plan guilds of plants that serve multiple functions: repelling pests, attracting beneficial insects, or improving soil nutrients. For example, in one corner of the garden, they might cluster cabbage, rosemary, and onions. The pungent aroma of rosemary and onions confuses common cabbage pests, while the cabbage provides shade for the onion bulbs in hotter months. Another section might include pole beans climbing a trellis with nasturtiums around the base to distract aphids. The layout can appear haphazard to outsiders, but each cluster has a specific role, forming a tapestry of interdependent plants. Some Amish gardeners keep a small notebook mapping every companion cluster. At season's end, they record any pest or disease issues, refining the layout for the following year. It's a natural form of pest management that reduces or eliminates the need for commercial sprays. Number 11, subtle weed management. Rather than letting weeds flourish until they're knee-high, the Amish tackle them early and often. They practice what one old farmer calls weed walks, quick daily strolls through the garden with a handheld hoe or even just a gloved hand. Removing small weeds takes seconds, while letting them mature can double or triple the effort. The Amish also use a layering method. After tilling or lightly forking the soil, they spread straw or grass clippings around seedlings to prevent weed seeds from receiving sunlight. In pathways, they might lay down old feed sacks or flattened cardboard boxes under mulch, creating a nearly weed-proof barrier. If persistent weeds do appear, they compost them only if they're seed-free or bury them in a separate pile. This routine, gentle approach avoids massive weed outbreaks that can choke out young plants or rob the soil of nutrients. Number 12, natural pest control patrol. You won't find racks of chemical pesticides in an Amish barn. Instead, they observe insect activity at dawn or dusk, when pests are most active. They check leaves for damage, searching for caterpillars, beetles, or aphids. Handpicking is a common technique. They might drop pests into a bucket of soapy water. Soap sprays, made from basic soap flakes dissolved in warm water, help control soft-bodied insects without harming beneficial pollinators. In some areas, they use row covers made from breathable cloth to protect the squash or brassicas from infestations. Birds are another ally. Bluebird or wren, nesting boxes placed around the perimeter, invite insect-eating birds to patrol the garden naturally. By maintaining a balanced ecosystem, the Amish keep pest populations under control without resorting to toxic substances, a testament to their patience and keen sense of observation. Number 13, strategic raised beds. Contrary to the belief that all Amish gardens are sprawling fields, many create compact raised beds with untreated wooden frames or stacked stones. This approach makes it easier to enrich the soil quickly, perfect for families with smaller backyards. The elevated design improves drainage, warming up faster in spring and allowing earlier planting. A typical bed might be around 4 feet wide, so one can reach into the center without stepping on the soil. The Amish fill these beds with a mix of on-farm compost, leaf mold, and garden soil, often achieving a nutrient density that's difficult to match in traditional row gardening. Because these raised beds stay so fertile, they can handle intensive planting, spacing vegetables more closely to reduce weeds. It's not uncommon to see neat lines of kale, lettuce, and carrots thriving inches apart in these rich, elevated mini-gardens. Number 14, fermented plant tonic. Alongside manure tea, the Amish sometimes brew a fermented plant tonic using nettles, comfrey, or even chopped weeds. They place plant material into large buckets, cover it with water, then let it sit for a couple of weeks. This mixture turns into a nutrient-rich liquid that smells quite potent. A few cups of this brew diluted in a gallon of water can give tomatoes, peppers, and squash a remarkable growth boost. The fermentation process breaks down tough plant cells, releasing essential minerals and micronutrients. One Amish gardener joked that the smell keeps visitors at bay, but the plants consider it perfume. Because it's made from garden trimmings, it's a cost-free way to cycle nutrients back into the soil. It's also a prime example of how the Amish practice closed-loop farming, letting nothing go to waste if it can still serve a purpose. Number 15, precision succession planting. Ensuring a steady harvest throughout the year, the Amish often plant in small intervals. Instead of sowing all lettuce seeds in one go, they'll plant a row each week for several weeks. This way, they always have fresh heads coming to maturity. Similarly, they might stagger corn planting by a couple of weeks so the ears don't all ripen at once. On a small plot, this method maximizes variety and availability. They keep track of these intervals in simple logbooks or by using twig markers with dates etched in them. They'll note, for example, spinach, April 10th, then the following row might be spinach, April 20th. By fall, they have a continuous supply of greens without the overwhelming harvest that plagues many gardeners who plant everything simultaneously. This approach also helps with pest control because each wave of crops isn't at the same vulnerable stage. Number 16, off-grid root cellaring. Preserving your harvest is just as important as growing it, and many Amish families rely on root cellars to store onions, carrots, potatoes, and other crops for winter use. They dig these storage areas below ground level where temperatures remain consistently cool. Some line the walls with stone or old brick to stabilize temperature and humidity. Ventilation is carefully managed with small vents or wooden doors that open and close depending on outdoor conditions. Baskets of produce are labeled by harvest date to ensure older crops get used first. On deeper shelves, you'll find canned goods made from garden produce like pickled beets or applesauce. These cellars enable the Amish to eat garden-fresh produce year-round, proving that a well-planned storage system can sustain a family long after the final fall harvest. Number 17. Creative trellising for vertical gains. To save ground space, Amish gardeners love vertical growing. Simple trellises made from branches, twine, or wire fencing allow peas, beans, cucumbers, and even melons to climb upward. This not only frees up horizontal space for other crops, but keeps the climbing plants cleaner, reducing rot and disease. For heavier fruits like melons, they might create slings from old cloth strips to support the weight. It's common to walk into an Amish garden and see an archway of green beans overhead, with children running underneath it. Some families incorporate these arched trellises into their garden paths, merging function and beauty. By going vertical, you can effectively double your harvest in a tiny space. A crucial advantage when aiming to grow a year's worth of food. Number 18. Harnessing pollinator allies. Bees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects are like garden workers you never have to pay. The Amish cultivate specific flowers like phacelia, borage, or bee balm, interspersed among vegetables to lure pollinators in. Some even keep beehives nearby, though technology and hive management vary by community rules. Beyond honey production, these pollinators improve yields on crops like squash, cucumbers, and berries. An Amish beekeeper might tell you that healthy bees reflect a healthy environment. To protect them, they avoid synthetic pesticides. In early spring, they'll ensure some overwintered flowers or hardy herbs are in bloom, giving bees a head start on nectar collection. By the time the main vegetable crops flower, there's already an established pollinator population at work, significantly boosting the overall harvest. Number 19. Woodland edges for natural protection. If an Amish garden borders a wooded area, they'll often utilize the transition zone between forest and field as a protective buffer. Shrubs like elderberry or hazelnut might be encouraged to grow at the edge, providing both windbreak and habitat for birds that eat insects. This gradual transition from tall trees to medium shrubs and then garden plants reduces the impact of harsh weather while inviting beneficial fauna. It's also a place to gather fallen leaves for compost and a spot to release beneficial predators like ladybugs or praying mantises. The layering effect mimics a natural ecosystem, making it harder for pests to move in undetected. This approach also stabilizes the microclimate, helping the garden retain moisture and warmth. Many Amish say if you treat the woodland edges kindly, they'll return the favor by protecting your crops. Number 20. Gathering and gleaning as a community. Finally, one of the most overlooked Amish gardening secrets isn't a specific technique, but rather a shared practice. In these communities, it's common for neighbors to help each other harvest in big work frolics, ensuring no food is left to rot in the field. Whether it's sweet corn or bushels of tomatoes, they glean every last bit. Families then can or preserve the surplus for winter. Those who have more than they need donate extras to local auctions or community kitchens. This communal effort means less waste, stronger bonds, and a wider safety net if someone's crop fails. In essence, it's a lesson in abundance through cooperation, proving that when people come together, growing enough food for a year in a seemingly small space becomes very achievable. While modern life often encourages isolation, the Amish demonstrate that shared knowledge, mutual labor, and collective purpose can yield far greater results than any single individual working alone.